Hello and welcome to Chugging Along. I'm Tim.
And I'm Sam.
So thank you very much for your comments on our last video where we went to the NEC in Birmingham to have a look at all the shiny new boats at Boat Life Live.
This week, however, we're back to our Helston Junction to London series, and in this video we will be chugging between Great Hayward Junction and the village of Armitage on the Trent and Mersey Canal.
You'll want to stick around in this video as we moor next to one of the most important factories in the country, meet one of Mary L's previous owners, chug over the River Trent on an aqueduct and show you our Rugeley diaries.
But before we get into that, we'd like to give a shout out to Amy and Wes, who sent us a photo of them playing our new canal board game, Argy Bargy. They're narrowboaters themselves, and you may recognise them from their channel Boat Time. If you'd like to send us a photo of you playing Argy Bargy, then send that to our email address, chuggingalongcanals@gmail.com. And if you're interested in getting your hands on a copy of the game, there's a link in the description below.
Right, so let's get into the cruise and we'll pick up where we left off last time, filling up our water tank at Great Hayward Junction. We had the easy task of just going straight on here, but we will have to do a very tight turn later in the video.
Come on then.
This was something we'd never seen before, a Cyclops narrowboat.
It wasn't long until we went down our first lock of the day, Hayward Lock. We were right next to the railway line for this one.
Because the lock was so shallow, I did something I don't usually do, use Mary L as a bridge.
This seemed like a popular space to moor. Really nice views of the hills too.
Don't mind Tim posing for the camera here. We saw some lovely canal cottages before we went down our second lock of the day, Colwich. This was up there with one of the best lockkeepers' cottages we had ever seen.
This part of the Trent and Mersey is next to the River Trent. I'm no expert, but I'm guessing that's got to have something to do with this canal being called the Trent and Mersey. Out of nowhere, it started to rain, so we decided to call it a day and moor up as soon as we found a spot. We were close to the aqueduct, so I went to go and have a look at it on foot, but obviously it had already stopped raining by the time I got there.
We woke up the next morning with a plan to meet Alan and Lynn in Rugeley. They used to own Mary L. We'd been in contact with Alan because he had commented on one of our videos.
Going over aqueducts is always a pleasure, and this one is no different. And right afterwards, we were greeted with this sharp left turn. Hi there.
Look at this army of mannequins. Definitely a talking point for those who use the towpath.
This is a narrowboat that sells homemade fudge. We wonder if they make it on board.
This was a CRT boat carrying new Armco. We do love a bit of Armco to moor up to.
We were now in Rugeley. We like this old factory building. Definitely has potential to be on grand designs.
We moored in the south of the town next to Bridge 62. Marielle used to live at one of the CRT moorings here, a homecoming for her. Alan and Lynn were lovely. They made nearly all the decisions that make Marielle the boat she is today. The sofas, the diesel fireplace near the bow, the island in the kitchen. They were happy that we were enjoying life on Marielle.
Look at this selection of goodies they gave us. We would love to say that this lasted us all the way down to London, but they only just about made it to Rugby.
It's that part of the video. It's now time for our Rugeley diaries. It was then time to complete this journey. This was the Armitage Tunnel, which is really interesting. It doesn't feel like a tunnel anymore because it lacks a roof. It feels like a narrow cutting. Luckily, we didn't have any boats coming towards us.
We then found our mooring spot in a place with decent solar that happened to be across the canal from the Armitage toilet factory. So every time you see an Armitage Shanks on a toilet, it's made here. Surely this is one of the most important factories in the country. We were starstruck. Just listen to some poor toilets getting smashed here. This happened regularly. It did make it a bit of a noisy mooring spot, but we didn't mind.
So that's the end of today's cruise, and quite a lot happened in such a short space of time. But now, Tim, it's over to you for those all-important cruising statistics.
Okay, alright, thank you very much, Sam. Alright, so we did 7 miles and just the 2 locks, and that was all in 6 hours, thus giving us an average speed of 1.16 miles an hour. That now means our trip average is 1.35 miles an hour, and it means we've done 59 out of the 205 miles to London.
Join us in next week's video as we chug on 3 different canals, where we finish our Trent and Mersey adventure, start chugging on the Coventry Canal, and also have a sneaky barbecue with Jam Cam and Cam on the Birmingham and Paisley Canal.
It was very sneaky. Yeah.
Very sneaky indeed.
Thank you very much for watching this video all the way to the end, and remember, no matter what you do in life, you've got to keep